Um, First and foremost, does the overall draft NDCA capture the wishes of Kenyans expressed in NDC 1 and CDCs? Yes, the draft NDCA is good and captures the wishes of Kenyans expressed during the first NDC and CDCs. Is there any information lacking that needs to be included without making the agreement bulky? Yes. And specifically, we move on to chapter after chapter, number after number. Chapter 1, National Cohesion, Reconciliation and Healing. Article 1, Dealing with Historical Injustices. Number 1, there is need to include other reports like the Kriegler and Dung reports and not only the TJRC. Number 1 still, the 1992 grievances and violations against Kenyans should be included and not only 2008 and 2013 and 2017. Number 2, assassinated or killed by state agencies should be changed to more positive language. Additional recommendations. When mentioning historical injustices, it is important to mention the aspect of trauma, which is psychological, and which means that psychological is more physical. So it's important to mention the issue of trauma. Article 2, addressing ethnic animosity and discrimination. Number 6, highlights corruption in political parties. It's missing. And Article 3, peace building, conflict management, hate speech, incitement. The article title should read peace building and conflict management. Hate speech and incitement should be moved to Article 2. Number 8, do away with the term activate county level mechanism. That was the feeling of the meeting. And number 8, 10, and 11. Number 10, the paragraph is very long and repetitive and need to be summarized. Number 11, it should not be assumed that persons living with disability are considered as part of the vulnerable group and should be included as a group that should be considered for protection in times of conflict in accordance with the National Peace Policy. Number 11, delete the word shall at the end of the first sentence. Then additional recommendations. Tradition, community structures and mechanisms should be put in place for peace building, conflict resolutions at local level. Supporting and financing institutions' traditional dispute resolutions process. Chapter 2, combating corruption and restoring national integrity, values, and ethos. There is need to summarize introduction of this particular chapter. The first sentence of the introduction should read, high integrity, deficit in public and not big integrity. Article 4, number 12. Ubuntu is a foreign word and it should be replaced with a word Kenyans can relate to, such as Utu. Number 12 is incomplete. Number 13 has an issue with grammar. And Article 5, number 16, add to acronym a list for following DCI, EACC, and IEBC. Number 16, instead of mentioning the actual institution, indicate the responsibility of the institution because names of institutions change. For example, IEBC, IECC to IEBC, body or institution that oversee elections. Number 16 still, what an ethical issue is being addressed. And number 17, the injunction should not only focus on lawyers, but include other professionals. Number 16 and 17 needed to be summarized. It was bulky. And anticipated bail and preemptive injunction should remain as they interfere with court process. Chapter 3, service delivery. Separate health issues from and environment issues. Avoid specific issues like SGR, publication of project. And number 25, it should read that the Ministry of Health and all account governments shall, by May 2020, provide a state of. And number 4, guaranteeing all the right to security and safety. Number 37, use the following wording. Efforts be made to ensure every police station have a special gender crime unit. Instead of there should be established at every police station have specific gender crime units. And number 5, strengthening devolution. Number 44, chapter 5 that is, number 44, how is the Senate activated? That there is a question mark about it, and grammar is in question. Number 42, for the next financial year, indicate the year, have a specific year, or when resources to follow functions to the county government should be affected. And we saw that that is a question that has affected so many county governments when it comes to accounting for the money that they received. Additional recommendations. An article on public participation should be included in this particular aspect. And then chapter 6, elections and electoral reforms. Number 50, political parties and other stakeholders to play a role in nomination of IEBC commissioners should be included. Number 55, the possibility of those elected interfering with the second election should be thought of. And chapter 7, constitutional agenda, constitutional reforms. Number 57.1, sentence, there is a sentence that is hanging that needs to be either deleted or be completed. And number 69 and 70, no devolution be captured under the chapter on devolution. Additional recommendation, separate issues, recommendations to institutions like judiciary, parliament, etc. Chapter 8, key democratic and nationhood agreements. Number 76 should also address violence against humanity or gender, not only women, and address current issues to do with intersex. Number 78, calling for the finalization, adoption, and operationalize of the family promotion and protection policy in line with Article 45 of the Constitution. And number 79 should speak to the county's national security, and it has been interfered with by internal drug traffics. Number 80 is also incomplete and is hanging. Number 80 should not only address Ministry of Health, but also social ministry. Chapter 9, implementation mechanism, JOMEC. The introduction should include the institution framework for JOMEC. And then the introduction should also include persons with disabilities as part of the JOMEC members. And then list of signatories, persons with disabilities to be added onto the list of signatories which we found missing. And then number 4, any other input on the proposed NDCA, the following areas need to be improved on. 1, consistency of language. 2, it is overly repetitive in some areas. And then 3, there is need for proper articulation of principles. Then number 4, it is over narrative. Number 5, it is more of a report and not an agreement. And then lastly, number 6, articles in the document should be numbered.